Hey, we're going to be discussing 2 natural pesticides that actually work on this edition of the Pest Geek Podcast. Pull out your hose and grab your can. We're about to integrate another Pest Geek Podcast. Hi, everybody. Frank Hernandez here, and welcome to the Pest Geek Podcast, bringing you the latest news, products, and politics from today's leading industry pros, offering you their technical marketing and growth strategies to give you, the pest management professional, that killer edge. Hey, welcome back to another edition of the Pest Geek Podcast. This is Frank Hernandez, your Pest Geek. So excited to be here this week talking about 2 natural pesticides that I actually really like, that actually produce results for a lot of pests that are common, especially in ornamental pests and for mosquito control and fly control and things like that. And I really do like these products. We're going to be talking about Essentria, IC3 from Invencio, and EcoVia, EC from Rockwell Labs. I've used these products. I got to be honest with you. At first, when they first came out into the market, because I've been trying natural products. I used to use horticultural oil for ornamental use, but I don't like using horticultural oil down here in South Florida, especially in the summertime when temperatures are in the high 90s. It really can cause some serious damage to a lot of plants. It's like, putting oil on a plant and then, putting it out to fry. So I was excited when first what do you call this? The first one that came out with it, I started using it about a year and a half ago. They were bought out at a different company now, but they're part of Zoecon right now, which is Invencio. So they changed their name, and we've had all these companies buy each other out and trying to keep up with them. It's like playing the stock market. But they got this product called Essentria. And Essentria is a natural product that is from rosemary oil and peppermint oil. And I said, let me give it a try. It comes from a brand that it's a professional company. They make professional products. I've been trying out some of the other products that were coming out at that time, about 2-3 years ago. And a lot of companies started putting out new products. And I started trying it. And I was really surprised on how well it actually worked for a lot of my ornamental pests. And what I started doing is I wanted to get off of the synthetic pyrethroids spraying when I had to spray and go to a natural product. Because, we just wanted to, we're looking at being a more environmentally responsible company. And but the problem is that you don't have residuals and you don't have real control. And, a lot of the products on the market, it's a lot of hype. No real science behind it. But this product, we used it. And at first I said, well, let's see what happens. So we tried it on a couple of shrubs. I tried it on some cocoa plums. They used to have some hard scale, the lobate scale. And I said, man, if it works on this, it'll work on anything. And we started trying, because these are hardy shrubs. They can take a lot of abuse. And surprisingly enough, it did control it. It took a while. It took a couple of months where we no longer saw the scale. We no longer saw the sooty mold. We didn't see any more of the honeydew. And after a couple of months of using it on these properties and testing it, we found it to be very, very effective. So now it's part of our program. It's part of what we do when we have to do spraying. That we're not going to be systemically treating. We're going to be doing spraying. And it's replaced really for a lot of the ornamental sprays. It's replaced a lot of the pyrethroids we used to use. The other thing that I like about it is that, it is a FIFRA exempted product. So both of these products, both the Essentria and the EcoVia, are both considered FIFRA 25B exempt products. They're also NOP products. They're National Organic Program certified. So you can use it in organic production, organic facilities. You can use these products, and that's great to have a product in your tool belt that you can use for these sensitive accounts that don't want, people who don't want chemicals. They don't want to use, synthetic products on their property. and it's great for one-time mosquito control. They're going to be having a party, and they want to have mosquito control, but there's going to be a lot of little kids and everybody, and they're just concerned about everything, all of that. And it's just a better way of doing something as that. Now, of course, with every product that you use, you cannot claim it's 100% safe. And here's why. One of the things that with the Essentria, it uses geraniol oil. Now, geraniol oil is considered an allergen, okay? It is a standardized chemical allergen. And you can find, I have a link to PubChem at the National Institute of Health.gov, where you can go in and look up any chemical component that is inside your active ingredients. And that's how you know what it actually does. And you can search every active ingredient and every inactive ingredient listed. Because just because it's an inactive ingredient or something that is used doesn't mean it's inert, that it doesn't do anything. And that's one of the things that we have to keep an eye on, is that just because it's natural doesn't mean there isn't a product in there that isn't. Now, both of these rely on essential oils like thyme oil, rosemary oil, peppermint. They use vanillin. They use a couple of different. I'm going to read off to you the percentages, but EcoVia uses 20% thyme oil as their main ingredient, and 8% rosemary oil, versus Essentria uses 10% rosemary oil and 2% peppermint. With the two ingredients, one is the 2-penethyl propionate, which is 14% in the EcoVia, and they use a geraniol 600, which is 600 milligrams. I think that's how they're measuring it. Which is 5%. And again, these are supposedly they're active ingredients, and there is problems like with the penethyl propionate, where people who are very sensitive to peanuts might have a problem with it. Who knows? Because it's not really defined yet. But one of the active ingredients that's used where it's derived, you could have a peanut sensitivity. So we need to get more information on that before we know. Now, we know that the geraniol is a standardized chemical allergen. It does produce to activate the histamine. There we go. I just so it does have an increased histamine release in people who are have allergies. So that could be a problem. But other than that, I would rather use this than use a synthetic pesticide if it actually works. I mean, that's always the case. Now, the emulsification, let's talk about that, because these are essential oils, and they both use polyglycerol oleate as their emulsification component. So to get the oil and the water to mix together. And what I like about the EcoVia EC is that it does dilute completely. Okay. The Essentria does not dilute completely. I still find oil floating at the top, even if I've shaken it. The only way around it that I found was, which I used to use anyway, is the a soap. Using a soap together with it works really well, because I used to use the soap to break down the honeydew and the sooty mold on a lot of these plants to get them cleaned up, and it would break it up a lot faster for the client. So they were really happy that, we sprayed it, and all of a sudden that sooty mold broke down very quickly, and it speeded it up. Usually within 30 days, if we did 3 applications, which is what we normally do, we'll do 3 weekly applications of this product on ornamentals, and then we use the soap. So, within a month time, it's cleaned up, and all the insect is completely gone from the plant. We get good control. That's the secret, really, to using these products. If you're going to use it as a one-time thing, or you're going to have to really know your pest biology. You're going to have to know the life cycle of that pest, from when it becomes an egg to a pupa to a larva to an adult, and how often does that happen, so you can time your applications to get the best control. You're not going to get control with this product, or any of these products, or for a lot of products anyway, on a quarterly basis. If you're spraying on a quarterly basis, you're not going to get any real control. But we found that in certain species, We've done that cocoa plum I told you about. We've done chifleta. That also helps with these insects, with these plants that are very hardy. The insects don't cause a lot of damage to them. We can get very nice control with this without having to use a harsh a pesticide or a synthetic chemical pesticide, as most people would consider that. And so we spray it, knowing the life cycle of the pest we're dealing with, whether it's a scale or a whitefly or thrip, and then we design a program. The way we design our program is totally different than a lot of national companies do with ornamentals. Is that we do a complete inventory and we design a program specifically for the plants that are in that garden with an ornamental. So we have a plan for lawn. We have a separate protocol for shrubs. We have a separate protocol for the trees. If they have fruit trees, we have a separate protocol for palms. And so we devise one complete comprehensive package for our clients, and that is designed on what they have and what insects and diseases that those shrubs get. We don't have like a program just by square feet where a lot of people do, and they just, by 1,000 square feet, and then we just use an application of either horticultural oil every month or every 2 months or every 3 months, or we use a product like bifenthrin. We don't do that. So, in our program, we found something that, hey, this replaced like bifenthrin, which we used to use, or permethrin, which we used to use, and it replaced it with a foliar spray that we can do for a lot of these shrubs. And it's great to have in our toolbox. One of the things that, the thing is the scent, that the people who are sensitive to scents will have sensitivity to this. The Essentria IC3 has a strong wintergreen scent or minty scent afterwards. So if people walk onto the property immediately after you've applied it, they're going to smell it. Okay. The other thing is the EcoVia has more of that floral. I can kind of smell the mint there, but it's not overwhelming. It has more of that floral, probably from the thyme oil that they're using mostly. They're using that 20% thyme oil, which is probably where we're getting that strong scent from. So again, knowing the life cycle is vital. Understanding the customer has sensitivities. And we do, as part of our, when we talk to our initial customer, we always ask the customer, what are they sensitive to? Do they have sensitivity to peanuts? Do they have sensitivity, to what type of allergens do they have? We need to know this, especially if, we're doing rodent control and doing other things that there are peanut products in there. We try to eliminate that as much as we can, because there's a lot of problem with people with sensitivity to allergens. And that has become a huge part. I mean, doing pest control anymore, as the customers are more, they can go to the internet, they can get all this information. It's all published. It's all there. I mean, customers are not ignorant anymore, and salespeople who used to be able to just say, well, everything is safe as long as you use it according to the label there, that is no longer good enough for a lot of people. And they want to know exactly the chemical component that's in there. They want to know the active ingredient. I get that asked all the time. People go on and says, did you use this product or did you use this product? Which is the active ingredient? And they know about this, and they're more educated. So I think as part of our, as part of being a professional pest control operator, your people have to be really trained in doing a lot of more consulting, same as a doctor would do when he sits down with a patient and says, are you allergic to this? Do you have a history of this? Do you have a history of that? I ask people, do you have pets? How old are your children? Are they anybody going to be crawling on this floor? If I have to apply a chemical product to the floor, I want to know that there are no little children crawling around on that floor. I want to know that there's no pets, walking around on that floor. So there are things that we do that's a little different than what other people are doing. But again, this is part of our program and what we do. And I think this is a great compliment. But again, and I want to reiterate this to make this important, because you can't just claim again that these products are just safe. That there is no such thing as an inert product or a totally safe product that you can apply for anything that you. Somebody will have something for it. And so again, don't, claiming that you're 100% natural might be factual, but it doesn't mean it's 100% safe. And that's what you can't claim or you shouldn't be claiming. And I think that's vitally important. Hey guys, look, this has been a ton of fun to be here today with you. I love doing this podcast. I wanted to tell you about our website at www.pestgeekpodcast.com, and there you can get the news, you can get all the tools and tips that we're doing, you can get the history on the podcasts, everything that's on there. If you are, we're also on Facebook. You can find us Pest Geek Podcast on Facebook. And if you are wanting to know the latest and greatest news in the pest industry, you want to go to our Twitter feed at Pest Geek Podcast on Twitter. And there we have about 30 industry sources that we publish news pretty much on an hourly basis, everything that is happening. And we started to add international news from different sources. We have anything from the National Pest Management Association to major universities to major IPM programs like IPM North and IPM South, which put out a great amount of content that's very useful. We started adding the lawn care section, and also for those people that do golf course and do lawns and ornamental, we added the green industries section now to our news. And also, what else did we add this week that we were doing? But yeah, the international one is one of the big ones that we've added. So check us out on Twitter, check us out on our Facebook page, and also check us out on our website. Hey folks, until next time, it's been real, it's been fun. See you next time.